What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a nice couple of duels for you guys to check out. It's featuring this very odd version of, well, you can't completely call it Dark Magician or Odd Eyes because it's basically a combination of the two decks. I know you're looking at this opening hand and you're like, wait, what deck am I looking at? He calls it Dark Eyes, and I mean, it does kind of work because, Odd Eyes are level 7, Dark Magician is level 7, there are some, Spellcaster Pendulum monsters, and the whole shebang is thrown together, and you can actually do some pretty cool plays. So let's roll this first duel. I believe this is against Blue Eyes Chaos Max. I mean, this looks like a Blue Eyes Chaos Max type of opening hand, and I believe DM is probably up first. Okay, so activates Odd Eyes Art Dragon. People forget about that card and how good it can potentially be. This was also pretty awesome. He got a +1 off of his circle, and he ended up getting navigation, which obviously works because he searched Dark Magician from Apprentice Illusion. Then he popped his pendulum, his Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and Art Dragon is going to give him a monster. Art Dragon is such a good card. You got to pop that card whenever your opponent's playing Odd Eyes. You got to make sure that is the first thing you get off the field. Now his opponent is going to throw, and he's going to throw a haymaker here, right? First off, he gets rid of Circle. He is going to activate Navigation. Now, the thing is, Circle is not going to resolve because it's not on the field. So it has to be face up to banish something. And he's going to throw basically just a slew of powerful dragons at his opponent. Now, he's going to go tag out for Blue Eyes. He still has the Chaos Max on field. Even after him getting another Odd Eyes, he's only left with one monster. He does not exceed summon in main phase 2. I agree with that. I probably would just keep my 4,000 attack Chaos Max. I think it's a little more valuable, and Alternative Dragon has removal as well, but it might not actually work for him. He's going to go for Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. Actually, it did work out for him because his opponent didn't do anything. He just went Clear Wing and passed. Now, here is where he trolls. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen these Odd Eyes players have Persona Dragon on the field, and then their opponent randomly goes in their extra deck, and they totally forget. This card is basically Necros of Colossalus. It can negate the effect of a monster special summon from the extra deck, and people constantly forget. So he tries to pop the Art Dragon as the Pendulum Scale, then he realizes, oh, Cap, I done effed up, man. I don't get to pop it because my effect is negated. He goes into Dark Matter Dragon. And actually, he does end up popping the Persona Dragon, but it just replaces itself off of Art Dragon. Now Monster Reborn is going to be used, and I feel like at this point, we are going to see a really crazy play. Goes into Electromite, and now he's going to be able to use the Art Dragon effect because he did use Heavy Metaphors Electrum to pop one of his cards. And now we get the Pendulum Summon of 3 monsters, and check this out. He's going to summon that Supreme King Dragon Clear Wing. It activates its Lightning Vortex-like effect to blow up all monsters your opponent has on the field that are face up, and when you get this much offense on the board, you're not going to lose. In fact, even if he didn't have the Electromite, this is enough raw damage right here. Well, this is over 10,000 damage, so yeah. Even without the Electromites, he's going to be able to OTK his opponent extremely easily. That was the first duel. Then in the second duel, I think we have him facing off against a Shadow Dinosaur build, which probably had a little more potential in previous formats. I think that if we ever get Construct at 3, then come talk to me. Once again, he does open up with Circle. Anytime you open with Rod, I think you're in good position. Now, he goes a little bit of a different route. He goes for a 1 and a 4 scale, so he doesn't have the Art Dragon constantly floating on monsters, and he also doesn't have the ability to Pendulum Summon his, high-level monsters. But at the same time, this guy right here, the Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon, has a nice effect that lets you gain 1,200 attack during the battle phase. A lot of people do not read these pendulum cards. You have to have another Odd Eyes in your other scale, if I'm not mistaken, but he does, so it's kind of irrelevant. So let's see what dinos are going to do. Probably going to summon Oviraptor. I feel like he's shotgunning this navigation way too quickly because he's trying to get the circle effect off. Problem is, his opponent's going to go Miscellaneous Ceratosaurus, which means Circle's just not going to do anything, and he should be able to get to Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Actually, he's going to go for Winda, I guess, making sure his opponent can't special summon anymore, even though it's unlikely that he would continue trying to special summon. Dark Magician, not doing that unless he has a copy of Eternal Soul. He's going to pop the Circle, get rid of that. Now Ultimate Conductor Tyranno's putting everybody face down, and he's going in for raw damage. He did add Rod back to his hand by tributing his Dark Magician, which is a smart play. All Dark Magician players should be doing that because it basically allows you, if you lost your cards like your Circle, it allows you to kind of recover during your next turn. And he gets another Circle and Eternal Soul anyways. Now he can get to basically anything he wants, and he's setting up really nice. He is going to use that effect, and he runs over Winda. That's exactly what I'm talking about. People don't realize that if you have this card plus another Odd Eyes, all your monsters become huge beaters. Now he's going to activate Navigation. He's going to chain Ash Blossom to the Navigation, but he is going to get a monster anyways because of Eternal Soul. He's probably going to threaten the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, but I think he's actually going to use it for a Shadow. No, maybe he won't. Okay, that got, yeah, it got negated by Navigation. I'm trolling. He ends up summoning Grista, and he gets another Conductor Tyranno, and it's looking like he might be able to pull this off, but he forgot about this dragon. Oh my goodness. And by the way, even if he would have activated Conductor's effect to put everything face down, which I think he may have done anyways, Dark Magician's unaffected because of Eternal Soul. Now he's out of resources, and I don't believe that there's anything he can do. Even if he did top deck a third Conductor, it wouldn't matter, because he would just summon the Dark Magician from his hand. He'd use Circle, and he'd just banish it, and that would pretty much just be GG no re. Also, whatever spell or trap he top decked, even if it was evenly matched, it wouldn't work because he should have another copy of Navigation in his graveyard. So that's basically the end of that duel. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna show you guys what the deck looks like. All right, so this is what the deck looks like on paper. As you might expect when you have decks like this that are basically a combination of two separate archetypes that are not really meant to be played together, you kind of have to make sacrifices. So a lot of the ratios that you're used to seeing, like 2s or 3s, you end up having to cut them down a little bit. You still run the cards, you just, you know, kind of cut the ratios down. It's the reason why you're only seeing like 2 copies of Apprentice Illusion when you're generally used to seeing 3. There's a whole lot of 1-ofs in this deck. I mean, with Dark Magician, you have to run a lot of the cards that have Dark Magician in the name. Like, you're going to, like, don't cut Illusion Magic, because then you're going to need that one card in certain duels, and you won't be able to get to your Dark Magician. Same thing goes with Inheritance. You need these cards to basically search off a Rod and to just go plus off of Dark Magical Circle. I like the addition of Summoner's Art. Way back when, I used to run 1 copy of this in my Dark Magician deck because it was a guaranteed way, without giving anything up, of getting the Dark Magician. But in this deck, it actually adds the Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, and we saw how that card basically took over the first duel. When it comes to the trap lineup, because it's a Pendulum deck, you're not going to run that many traps anyways, so you're only going to be able to really fit in the Dark Magician cards. No hand traps in this deck. That would probably be the only thing that I could say, hey, maybe take like 3-4 slots, work in something. I guess technically, if you wanted to bump this up to like 43 cards, or maybe even cut something, as crazy as it sounds, like you maybe can cut Monster Reborn and probably throw in 3 copies of something like Infinite Impermanence, because that is essentially your hand trap that works during both players' turn. But for the most part, the deck is kind of standard, and this is with just 1 copy of Electromite. Even though it is a Pendulum deck, this deck isn't going to rely on Electromite all that much, so it even is kind of, it's kind of set for the new format.